What is up, guys? Ross Thomas here for the Brotographer.com, and today I've got the new A7R III from Sony here. I've got the 24-70 G Master on it right now. First, I'm going to show you guys how autofocus works with a native Sony lens, and then we're going to bust out the Metabones adapter, some Canon L glass, and some Tamron glass as well, the 90mm macro, and we're going to see what autofocus features, mainly eye autofocus, are available with the adapter and the adapted lenses. All right, so first we've got the 24-70 G Master. I am zoomed in to 70mm here. I've got eye autofocus set over here to the AEL button and back button focus on the AF on. So we are in continuous right now at f2.8, as you can see, holding down the back autofocus button, and we get her face lit up. When we hold down the AEL button for eye autofocus, she gets that eye in the frame. Beth, move left and right a little bit. Slide left and right, Beth. Now slide back over. So as you guys can see, the eye stays on. Keep going, Beth. No, you're good. All right, guys, so as you can see, eye autofocus tracked her pretty well. If you're doing portrait shooting, it's going to be good. And now we're going to break out the Canon glass with the Metabones Mark IV adapter and see if we get any eye autofocus. All right, guys, I wanted to start off with a lens that I was actually going to sell. It is the Canon 85mm f1.2L Mark II lens. And basically I was going to sell it and pick up the Sony G Master, but I threw it on with Metabones Mark IV adapter and noticed something awesome. So we're in continuous focus again, and if we're holding continuously on the AF on button, she is held in focus. However, so on my A7R II we didn't get eye autofocus, but let's hit eye autofocus and check that out. Beth, move left and right in the frame for me real quick. Left, all the way right. As you guys can see, it picks her up pretty well. All right, one thing that I haven't tested out, hold up right there, Beth, is seeing how many frames per second we get. So stay right there. And it looks like we're getting a full 10 frames per second with the Canon 85mm f1.2L. So if you guys have been wondering what the Bokeh Monster portrait lens does, it's pretty awesome. I'm going to go all the way to f1.2, and we're going to bump up, we're going to bump down that ISO to 200. All right, so we're gonna write to the card, and I'm gonna play this back for you and see if that is sharp. Zoom in on her eyeball, boom, look at that, guys. We are totally tack sharp on her eyes with the Canon 85mm, amazing, 10 frames per second. Let's bust out the next lens and see if it does just as well. Okay, so now I've got the Canon 35mm f1.4L Mark II on the Sony A7R III with the Metabones adapter again. This is one of my favorite pieces of glass, one of my favorite lenses of all time, just for its sharpness, its bokeh, its colors, all that great stuff. So let's see how she does. We're going to autofocus, easily picks up the face. We're in continuous autofocus, wide open at 1.4, and we also get eye autofocus. Move back and forth, Beth. See how it tracks the eyes. Now go backwards, Beth. Walk back a couple steps. Walk back even farther, Beth. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Stop. Look at that, guys. Stay right there, Beth. Look at that. We're getting the eye autofocus all the way back there. Now walk towards us. Perfect. All right. Eye autofocus works with the Canon 35mm L Mark II. Okay, so the next lens we have on there is the Canon 70-200 f2.8 L Mark II, the newest one they have. Now I've also been debating selling this lens and picking up the 24-70 G Master, but it's a little bit more expensive. And after figuring out that autofocus works way better on the A7R III versus the A7R II, I'm keeping it. So check this out, guys. We are at 70 millimeters right now and easily get eye autofocus again. Now, one of the big things with the old version of this lens was focusing at 200 millimeters. So I'm gonna get out of focus here. Let me take off this. Okay, let's get out of focus, and we're gonna go straight, oops, we're gonna go straight to eye autofocus. And we are struggling a little bit right there to pull focus. If you start with back button focus and not eye autofocus, it pulls it easily. If we go straight to eye autofocus, oh, there it goes. Now if we're focused behind her and we do the same thing, it's having a tough time. Regular autofocus works. Let's front focus. All right, so if we start with focus in the foreground and then focus on her with eye autofocus, it seems to work really well. But if we start focused behind her, it does not seem to work as well, which is really interesting. We're back at 100 millimeters right now and everything seems to be fine. So Beth, move back and forth, left and right. And move back. Back, 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 back. Keep going. 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 And stop. All right, guys, right about there. I'm gonna zoom out to 70 millimeters. Look how far she is. She's probably 35 to 40 feet away from the camera. If we zoom in, whoops, all the way to 200 millimeters. She's pretty much in the dark, so we're not gonna get her. But we still get face autofocus. She's very far away. All right, so come towards me, Beth. Come towards me. We're zoomed into 200 here. Come towards me. Come towards me. Keep coming. Okay, great. Let's check a couple of those pictures. Gonna zoom in. And she's very sharp. I know it looks a little bit dark on the screen because I don't have her lit all the way back there. But as she comes into frame, we can see that her eyeballs are extremely sharp. So autofocus is doing really well with the 70 to 200, not quite as well as the 35 millimeter and the 85 millimeter, but it is respectable and way better than on the A7R II. So now we have the Tamron 90 millimeter macro, the f2.8, and this is the version 2, so kind of like their G2 series of lenses. And so previously on the A7R II, I basically couldn't get autofocus to work at all, especially with its macro capabilities. At portrait length, it was decent at best, but still not really good at all. If you started out of focus and you tried to just acquire basic focus, it would hunt continuously for 5 or 6 seconds and it wouldn't work. So if we start completely out of focus with the Tamron and just acquire basic focus, it's super fast. Let's focus on the background. Way out of focus. Still hunts a hair, but it picked her up relatively easily. Now let's get to eye autofocus, and boom, eye autofocus with the Tamron 90 millimeter macro, excuse me. Beth, step left and right, please. Look at that, guys. Step towards me, Beth. And away. Keep going. And guys, look how it tracks her eye all the way back. She's about 15 feet away, 20 feet away. We're still on her eyeball. She's about 25 feet away, and I'll stop right there. So as you can see, the Tamron 90 millimeter macro did a fantastic job acquiring basic focus and eye autofocus as well. Alright, so sorry for the super long-winded test, but I was super excited to find out that I could use eye autofocus on all of my lenses. One lens that we didn't test today was the 16-35 f4, which I am shooting this with right now, and that also works. And the Tamron 150-600 G2. Eye autofocus even works on that. I might try and do some testing with a fast-moving subject in a sports type situation to see if we can get eye autofocus at 10 frames per second and see if it can track all the way through on that lens as well. So I hope you guys found this interesting. For me, I was getting ready to sell the Canon 85mm L Mark II just because it's big, it's bulky, its autofocus is slow, and I couldn't get eye autofocus to work. So it's really finicky, as I'm sure most of you Canon shooters know if you've come over to Sony from Canon. It's really finicky, and getting anything in focus at f1.2 is pretty much impossible. So I'm super happy that this works now. It's even better than on my Canon 1DX Mark II, not to mention the 42 megapixels on the A7R III are fantastic. So being able to hit that eye pretty much every time in a portrait shoot is going to be amazing. Also, the 35mm L Mark II is my other favorite lens, maybe one of my most favorite lenses of all time, and being able to have eye autofocus on that for an environmental portrait and not miss focus on the face is absolutely fantastic. Once again, I hope you guys found this interesting, and I hope that you keep your Canon glass as it has wonderful characteristics, rendering, bokeh, colors, all that stuff. So until next time, signing out for the Brotographer.com, I am Ross Thomas, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.